Y'all, I steeped my crochet. It's the first time I've ever taken scissors to my crochet, but I did it and it worked. And I have 777 grams of yarn out of my stash. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast. My name is Hannah and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? Happy March. It is hot. It is hot here. I know y'all don't need a weather report, but some of you may be wondering, like, why the heck are you wearing a tank top with a wool shawl? Because the wool shawl is not going to last. Okay, it is currently 85 degrees. I think it's going to get a couple degrees hotter today, and it yesterday broke a record for how hot it was in Tampa. A record that was set 100 years ago. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for summer. Okay, especially because after my 2-year-old was born, I'm just hot all the time now. That's not cool. I want to be cold all the time. Why can't I be cold all the time? Send me your tips. Can I force my body into that? Anyways, I have 3 finished objects. I have a cardigan that I steeped. I have this shawl, and I have a pair of socks. Totaled, that is 777 grams out of my stash. So far, in the last 2 weeks, since the beginning of the year, 2,523 grams has been completed. It's the beginning of March, you guys. Now, granted, a couple of these projects, they're not like cheat sheets, but like they were close to being finished, but they were finished in this year, so it counts, right? It's not just yarn, in case you're new here. I'm weighing the final product of anything that I do. For these 3 finished objects, it's just yarn because they're made of just yarn. But I did finish a cardigan that included the buttons when I weighed it, and I made a stuffed animal for my son. A stuffed digger. It's epic. He's sleeping with it right now. And I included the stuffing and all of that because that's part of my stash as well. So it's not technically yarn out of my stash, except it was for the last 2 weeks because all 3 of these projects are only yarn. There is no extra anything on them. I can't believe that. 2,523 grams of yarn since January 1st has gone out of this stash. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself right now. So, where should we begin? We should talk finished objects, I guess. I'm just going to be like telling you all the things, but you need to get cozy, and you also need to know that in 15 minutes the timer's going to go off. I'm going to cut it out. You're not going to hear the blasting loud alarm on my oven, but there is bread in the oven that will hopefully rise. Noah made bread with me, and I will put a clip of that at the very end because y'all loved that last time. I'm not sure if the bread I maybe put too much flour in it, or it got overworked, or maybe underworked. I don't know. There was a baby mashing it around, okay, for like a solid 10 minutes, and then I kneaded it for a while, and then it did rise. But the last time we did this, we made a pancake. It tasted good, but it was a pancake. So we'll see. I like to make bread when he's not around, but he enjoys it so much I can't help it. So get you a project. Okay? Let's get into this. If you need to reach me for any reason, thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. That's my email. That comes directly to me. Whip School prizes. Everyone has gotten back to me, and those went out in the mail this morning, which is Wednesday. You're going to see this on Saturday. And I think that's all the announcements that you need to know. So, what should we start with? I suppose we'll start with what I'm wearing. This is the Playful Shawl, which is a free pattern by somebody. You'd think I would know, but I have been doing my own thing on this pattern. I got this on Ravelry for free. It is made for a fingering weight yarn. I made it in a DK weight yarn. Meg Gadsby. Playful Shawl by Meg Gadsby. It is an asymmetrical garter stitch shawl. It is meant to be worked in 2 colors. So the pattern is for fingering weight yarn, and I made it in DK. The pattern uses 2 colors of yarn. I made it in 1. This yarn is Murky Depths Dye Works Triton MCN. Oh, it does look like Murky Depths, doesn't it? It is the colorway 10 type. I freaking love it. There's 5 skeins of these. I have used not quite half of it so far, and I will be using every scrap of this yarn. I last time had not started any new projects. I've started 2 new projects in this yarn. So it's all living in this bucket bag that I got from Made by Haley Bailey in one of her Winter Wonderland boxes. I think this was 2 years ago. I didn't get one last year, so it had to be 2 years ago. But this is like a quilt, a vintage quilt that someone took and made into a bag and then overdyed. I just love it so much. It's the perfect size for this. So essentially, what I did is I never looked at that pattern again after I got the repeat, which took me just a couple of rows. And I blocked this last night. It grew, it's like twice as big as it was. Like truly twice as big. I left a tiny little light bulb stitch marker so you could see where I was the last time I podcasted. So I actually finished all of this, which is a fair amount of knitting because these rows are super duper long at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the stitch marker off. Otherwise the next time I wear it, I'm gonna get poked. I'm gonna be like, what is bothering me? So you start from this end, you increase, essentially you work 2 sets of increases on the right side and a decrease on the left side when the work is right side facing you, and on the other side you just knit. So it's an asymmetrical garter stitch. It is so squishy, so soft. Garter stitch generally is not my favorite appearance. Like I don't know why, but because it's so plush and so squishy, I should love it, and I do love it. I do love it, but I don't generally choose to make things out of garter stitch because I just think stockinette is prettier. But I thought that this yarn was going to be magical in garter stitch, and it is. It is magical. This shawl is so much bigger than I was planning for it to be. Let me put this on so you can see. Before blocking last night, I had this around my neck, okay? Both of these ends were here. This is how much it grew in blocking. And I did stretch the point out a little bit because I wanted it to be a lower triangle. But like, this is how much it grew. Last night, it was probably this small. I should have taken a picture, but I didn't because I'm a bad podcaster. This yarn is like 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. I cannot tell you how much I love a 10% cashmere yarn. Like, it is glorious. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know what it is. It's the cashmere, okay? I would make everything in my life out of cashmere if I could because it is so magical. Not everything. I wouldn't make anything for my kids out of cashmere because I'm not an idiot. Also, I probably wouldn't make socks with cashmere unless they had nylon in them. Yeah, so it grew so much, and garter stitch will do that. And garter stitch, if you don't know, is literally you're just knitting on both sides. If you're making stockinette stitch, which is that smooth knitting, you're knitting on one side and purling on the other, or you're working knits in the round. So this is work back and forth, and you're knitting on every side. I just cannot. Like, the color is so good. This feels amazing. It feels amazing. I just love it. I have nothing bad to say about this. I enjoyed working on it. It was the perfect blend of like mindless and calming, and also the yarn was so luxurious and the colors. This is not my normal color palette, but I'm trying to incorporate more things that have like olive green. Because look, if I hold that up next to my eyes, you see how green my eyes look? They are in fact that green, but they're like green, and then they have like a starburst of brownish or gold in the middle. And so they can look brown depending on the light, but if the light really hits it where I'm wearing something with green in it, they look really green. I think it also helps when I have red hair. This is not very red. Did I buy more hair dye? Yes. Have I had time to cut my hair? No. Have I had time to dye my hair? Absolutely not. But I did have time to finish this shawl. So I'm just delighted by it. This shawl took 220 grams total yarn. Now, what I did is I worked 2 entire hanks of yarn into this shawl. And then at the very end, where is the very end? See, now I took my stitch marker off. This is my bind off. So at the very end, I cannot find where I wove it in, right here. I haven't trimmed the ends off yet because I literally pulled this off the blocking mat this morning. So I was on the middle of a right side row when I ran out of the second skein of yarn. So I finished that right side row. I worked a wrong side row in a third ball of this yarn, and then I did the bind off. And I have, as I said, 5 skeins of this yarn. So I have plenty. And I'm going to use, as I said, all of this yarn. Before we go into other finished objects, I want to show you I have started 2 new projects. Started barely, okay? But number 1, I cast on a hat. I literally have just done the cast on in like 1 round. But I think it would be a crime to not put this yarn in stockinette. Like truly, because this is amazing. We need to see it in its full glory. So it's living in a bag that came all the way from Stephen and Penelope because my friend Amy went there and brought it to me. And here we go. Literally just started. I have nothing, hardly anything to show you. I am just using the classic cuffed hat pattern by Pearl Soho. That's made for a worsted weight yarn. I've made it in DK a bunch of times. It's generally my go-to hat pattern for a worsted or DK weight yarn because it just fits perfectly. I know that everybody seems to love the classic ribbed hat from Pearl Soho. These are both free patterns, but I don't love doing ribbing forever and ever and ever. That's not to say I'll never make one, but at the moment, what I really love is going around in a circle, and I usually do that with socks. And I need a project to have on the go while I am following Noah around that is small. So hence socks. I'm currently working on a Sockhead cowl. That's not finished yet. This will be my project to follow Noah around at the park and outside while he's digging in the dirt, etc. Even we were at Target yesterday. He spent 45 minutes in the toy aisles just looking at all the toys. That's an activity, y'all, especially when the pollen is happening. The pollen, oh my Lord, the pollen apocalypse is in my yard. It's in my nose. It's in my eyeballs. It is hurting me. And I'm allergic to everything anyways. So the pollen bothers me more than normal, but I'm like used to it. I'm used to being allergic to everything. Like I take allergy pills every day. I have a steroid nose spray that I have to use. When the pollen comes out, I have to use extra nose spray and extra allergy pills. But apparently Noah is also allergic to pollen. My husband is super duper allergic to pollen. He always has been. Nova seems fine. She sees the pollen and she's like, whatever. I am sensitive to everything in life, but like the actual world. So where was I going with that? We needed an indoor activity because I could not handle being outside anymore. My eyes were itching so bad. So we were at Target and I was working on my Sockhead cowl. That is a few inches away from being done, so I will need another project. I adore these needle stoppers. They came out of the Twice Shared Sheep Advent box, and this little doggy to hold my cast on end so it doesn't flop all around. And I just thought it was too perfect to have a dog and a cat as my stitch marker jewelry, my knitting jewelry for this project. So this is the same ball that I used for the bind off. Is it? Is that true? I actually don't know if that's true. This may not be the same ball that I used for the bind off. My crochet project may be attached to that one. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Essentially, I'm going to knit a hat, and it's going to be a regular classic cuff hat. Again, a free pattern. I love that pattern. I don't do whatever cast on they recommend. I just do a long tail cast on because I can't be bothered. Maybe someday I'll be bothered. Today is not that day. I'm bothered by so many other things. But like I said, it's barely started, and it will be worked on shortly, probably once the Sockhead cowl is finished. So that's the project number 1 that I have started. My plan now, so this used 220 grams. That hat is going to use however much of that ball it needs to. It probably needs to get to like 9 inches. And then the rest of the yarn, so probably 2 1/3-ish skeins, will be put into a crochet shawl in the same shape as this. It will be an asymmetrical, shallow triangle, and I've already started it. There's not a pattern for this. I may at some point just make a tutorial for this because it's so easy that like, I don't know that it deserves a written pattern. I'll tell you what I'm doing with it, and then you can just do it if you want. Or I haven't put my knitting needles away, which I need to because then I will retrieve my needle stoppers that my friend Maria gave me. I need to put these away after I am done podcasting, and the needle stoppers, because this is done. It's done. So what we have here This does look a little bit smaller. So this must be the ball I used for the bind off. I have a little tail of a crochet scarf. I have my crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook, and I have my one skein that has not been balled up yet. I do need to do this. So all of this, and the leftovers from the ball of that hat is going to go into this crochet shawl. I imagine because the rows will be getting longer and longer, eventually I will run out and have like a tiny nug left over, because I would like to end on probably a wrong side row, given the pattern that I'm doing, but we'll see. My goal is to use every scrap of this that I possibly can. I am doing this. Isn't that nice? This is why I was like, this has to be in stockinette too. And it has to be in crochet. And when Amanda sent me this yarn, I was like, oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. I just cannot describe how much I love this yarn. The bread is almost done. But I got all precious about it, and I was like, there's 5 skeins in it. I have to make a garment. No, I don't. I can actually make 3 projects out of this yarn, and they'll probably get more wear than a garment, unless of course I made a cardigan. They'll probably get more wear than a garment because they're smaller. Like, I just think this is one of the most beautiful yarns of all time. And again, it needs to be next to my face. So this is the same stitch marker that I used on the knit shawl. I just put that there as a progress keeper, but of course I needed another one because this is crochet. And so I pulled out, again, from the Twice Shared Sheep advent calendar, this little piggy. There's 3 little piggies. I think I had kept 1 or 2 of them, and I put the rest in my giveaway bin. Let's get the bread, and then I'll tell you exactly how I am making this crochet shawl so that you can replicate it if you would like to. Bread is out. One of the loaves rose pretty beautifully. The other one, a little flat. There was a section of that one was a little smaller. I maybe could have let it rise a little longer, but it may have been even more pancakey. As I said, I think they got a little bit overworked. My plan is, though, in the crock pot over here, is some chicken and barbecue sauce and some spices. And my plan is to shred that up and just make like a chicken sandwich, barbecue chicken thing situation tonight. We'll see. We'll see if the kids eat it. They'll at least eat the bread, right? Noah loves barbecue, actually. Nova is like, I have to put a vegetable with it so I can feel like a good parent. But you know what we ate for dinner last night? Tortilla chips with cheese. Fake cheese for Noah, obviously. And a hot dog. A chopped up hot dog. I was like, here's some nachos for dinner, because we got home from the doctor. Noah had to go to the doctor. We got home at 5 p.m., which is half an hour after they eat normally. Everyone was cranky. Everyone was tired. He got poked in the arm. It was a whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't have time. I don't have energy. I cannot. We're going to do chips and cheese for Noah and some hot dog. And they ate their entire dinner. And I was like, you know what? Can't win them all, or even most. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. This is what I'm doing. It is definitely asymmetrical, although it doesn't really look like it right here. And I will tell you, I have a heck of a time with asymmetrical things. At the beginning of this shawl, I had such a hard time remembering which side to increase on and which side to decrease on until it got about this big. Then I finally could like really see it. I don't necessarily have a hard time seeing which side to increase and decrease on this one. I just keep second guessing myself that it's not actually asymmetrical, but it is. I have held it up to this, and it's the exact same shape because I'm doing the exact same thing just in crochet. Let me show you. Do you see this? It's exactly the same. Now, granted, the garter stitch rows are very small. Like this is 2 garter stitch rows right there. The crochet rows are a lot bigger, so it's growing faster. So this is going to be a much bigger shawl, I think. But then again, crochet uses a lot more yarn. So we'll see. We'll see how big it gets. But like, it is in fact asymmetrical. If I hold it like this, you can see that it's not quite like it's kind of doing this. It will. I promise it will be asymmetrical at the end. It just looks really weird right now. So what I am doing is I chained 4. I'm increasing. This is all entirely in half double crochets. So I chained 4. I chained 5. In the first 2, so chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't work into the 5th chain. In the 4th and 3rd chains, so the 2nd and 3rd chains from your hook, if you chain 5, chain 5. I worked 2 half double crochets in each one. And then on these 2, I crocheted them together. Half double crochet 2 together. So that gave me a total of, I started with 4 chains, right? I'm ending with 5 stitches because I've increased twice and I've crocheted these ones together. Then on the return row on the wrong side, only half double crochets in the 3rd loop. And this is why I might have to actually make a tutorial for this. If you've never worked in a 3rd loop, that can be a little bit tricky, but it gives you this pattern because it bumps the side of the half double crochets straight down and makes that beautiful V texture. And I just think this is magical. And I literally just kept doing that. So on every right side row, 2 half doubles in the first 2 stitches, regular half doubles in the middle, half double crochet 2 together at the very end. On the wrong side row, half doubles all the way across in the 3rd loop. And it gives you this texture, but it also gives you a completely smooth fabric on the back side if you wanted to wear it the other way. You can tell it's like rolling and curling a little bit. Blocking will fix this. Just like the garter stitch shawl. It rolls and curls and does all kinds of things until you block it. Yeah. So we're gonna see how long this shawl lasts because I am getting hot, you guys. The air kicked off. It thinks that it's like cold in here. It's not. It's not. So yeah, 220 grams of this yarn used up, however many grams that hat will take, and I'm gonna guess maybe it'll be 220 to 250 grams total. I should have weighed these skeins to begin with because they say they're 100 grams, but I don't think that a bind off and 1.5 rows would have taken 20 grams of this yarn. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but that seems crazy to me. So I think that maybe the skeins are a little bit heavy. But yeah, I know I've been talking about this for ages, but like I cannot get enough of this color. I just adore it. So let's finish project number 1 and 2 new starts. Let's put them all back in this bag. I'm so delighted. I'm so delighted with this. I'm gonna wear it as often as possible if Florida will just cooperate and give me a slight amount of colder weather. Now, let's talk about this cardigan that I steeped, shall we? If you have been around and saw it on the last podcast episode, I was so close to being done. I had 1 sleeve's worth of ends on the inside to weave in, which was a lot because it's fade. And then I had to steek where I'd cut for the button bands. It's finished. It's finished. It's blocked. I love it and I have feelings. So let's talk about this. Let's take this off because I'm going to try this one on for you. Oh, shawl on the floor. I wouldn't care about that normally, but I literally just washed this last night. I don't want it. I don't want it to fall down. Now, I originally started making this 2-3 years ago, something like that, and it was based on the Hekla cardigan pattern. I threw out that pattern because it's not. That is a round yoke cardigan pattern, and it is an A-line construction, and it only has buttons right here. And I think it looks so cool. I will never wear that. Like nothing in my closet is A-line. Nothing. Okay, I think it makes me look weird. Everybody has different styles that look good on them. A-line, not my preference. I prefer a raglan that really like helps me. Maybe it's because my torso is so long that A-lines are hard for me. I don't mind when something's here and then right under my bust, I have like a belt or something to cinch it in. I think that looks really cute. But just a straight A-line, I really struggle with. Also, I don't like buttons just here and then this part open. Again, maybe because I have a long torso, but like that's the part that I would rather have the bottom button than the top. Does that make sense? So very shortly after starting this cardigan 2.5, 3 years ago, I got to here and I was like, oh, this is not it. And so I frogged back because it was increasing underneath the arm. And I essentially just worked straight down, working in this fade. And then I did my own thing on the sleeves. I worked out how I wanted them to be. I did the numbers for decreases and I did the cuffs. I worked it all the way down to the bottom, ribbing. And then it sat there and sat there and sat there. I want to say this sat in a bag for like 2 years, at least 1.5 years. Because if you can see this line right here, this line on both sides, that is how wide the neck was. No. I hate that. Like, if it wasn't a cardigan, maybe it would work. Like, I could maybe wear a t-shirt with a scoop neck like that. Not a sweater, okay? Like, this is not, I do not live in a cold enough climate to wear an off-the-shoulder sweater. And also, that isn't quite wide enough to be off the shoulder. It would need to be like here for it to tilt cutely. Like, it was just an awkward angle, and I kept thinking, I'm gonna add short rows to this. I'm gonna add short rows to this. I have contemplated frogging this sweater multiple times, but I never did it. And I'm really glad that I didn't do it because it is in fact finished. And last time I showed you that I added all of these short rows, and then I finished the button band. I had a teeny tiny bit of yarn left. The only thing I had to do last time was weave in those ends, block it, and steek. So now this project bag. This has been living in this project bag for so long. This yarn came from my lovely friend Amanda, because she knows the love of fade, and I do. And this bag came from my friend Amanda. And look, I have a giant sweater bag that has been liberated. It's been liberated. Well, I'm all about liberating the project bags this year. And now I can put something new in this. Maybe a new sweater project, or maybe a tank top. I really want to make some summer stuff that I can wear. So yes, bag has been liberated. This is how much yarn total I have left of the fade. Fade came from Asylum Fibers, and I think it was a 75 merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina. There is 438 yards and 100 grams, and there were 5 skeins in this colorway. Again, heavy. These skeins had to be heavy because I weighed this in grams, the finished product, and I have this much left, okay? This project weighed 480 grams. There is no way that this is 20 grams. Like, what? So they had to be on the heavier side. I am not complaining about that, okay? Because I love a heavy skein. Like, more money, more yarn for your money, right? But I am gonna save this for something magical. I have a tiny little nug. That is probably 20 grams. But what is this? I don't know. I haven't weighed that one. I should. So, are you ready to see it in all of its glory? I have worn this 3 times already. Oh, look, my blue workout shorts. Because I'm working out? No, because it's hot. So, let me back up a little bit. Hopefully you can see. Let me pull these down so I don't look like I'm only wearing a cardigan. That didn't help at all. So yeah, when I blocked it, it grew such a great amount. So before blocking, I think the sleeves were like right here, which is a good length of sleeves for me, but now they're here. This is how I want my sleeves and cardigans. It's not so long that it goes over my fingertips, and the cuff is small enough that it cinches in and keeps it from draping over my hand. So what I'm saying is, when I hold my arm down, this sleeve has enough body where it doesn't collapse over the cuff. It just kind of like wrinkles really nicely. And this cuff is tight enough that it keeps it from doing that on my hand, and I can pull it down if I want to. I have worn this, when did I wear this? I wore this last Wednesday to small group. I wore this to church on a Sunday. It looked super cute, if I do say so myself. And I think I've worn this one other time. And again, it's a cardigan, so I can take it off. I talked last time about how I wasn't going to add buttons because of how long it is, and because my hips are wider than the rest of up here, especially after kids, right? So if I'm going to button it, it's just going to be stretched out and weird, right? Like, if I'm going to wear a cardigan buttoned, it needs to be like this length, not down past my butt. I love a cardigan that goes down past my butt because this is my aesthetic, like a cozy, like just throw it on. I love a shawl collar. I just love like long flowy things. If you've ever seen the TV show Elementary, which was like a Sherlock Holmes spinoff kind of thing, a while ago, probably like a decade ago now, but it had Lucy Liu in it, who is fabulous. I love her. Literally any outfit she wore in that show, freaking love it. Like, if I could have had all the money in the world and I lived somewhere where I could wear stuff like that and it wasn't so hot, and I wasn't wearing like running shorts, not because I'm running, just because it's 85 degrees in March, I would wear every item in her closet for that show. Like, it was phenomenal. And it was very much like flowy, drapey, like a little bit fitted, not super oversized, but like not tight either. Oh, so good, so good. Tights and boots, my favorite. So yeah, I am so happy with this. Blocking is magical, you guys. It relaxed. It's just perfect. I have one thing to complain about, and it's not exactly a complaint. It's a fact of what happened to this cardigan. Okay, so because of this yoke, this round yoke that it started with, it doesn't have the extra body in the back, right? So I added all of this, but it does not have shoulder structure. This is a round yoke cardigan. Typically, when you make a round yoke cardigan, you have a button up here to help keep it, right? It's going to be usually a little more fitted. It's going to button down the front, and a lot of people are going to wear it buttoned, or at least have a button, right? You're not wearing typically a round yoke cardigan just over your shoulders, like I am wearing it right now. I have forced this round yoke cardigan into a V-neck because that is my aesthetic. And now I know better than to try and make a pattern like that. What was I thinking? I don't know. 3 years ago, me, just not, what's the word? Not making good decisions. But maybe this was a good decision because this is fabulous, right? But like, because of the way it is constructed and because I forced it into a V-neck, it wants to fall off my shoulders. Much like I have heard the featherweight cardigan wants to fall off your shoulders. It just always kind of like, it has not actually ever fallen off yet, but it wants to. And it also wants to ride up a little, like because I'm pulling it to keep it on my shoulders, the front ends up being longer than the back. It's not longer than the back. They're the same length, but because of the way it's sitting on my shoulders, that's how it looks. So it really needs to be more like this, and I can pull it down in the back. Then you can see that it's even, right? But it wants to just fall. And I can just be like, whoa. You can see it has not fallen. It's not officially fallen, but it is right on the edge. It's right on the edge. This is where it wants to sit. I'm not mad at that because I did not add buttons, because this is the way I'm gonna wear it anyways. I would prefer it to be a little more structurally sound. I think I could maybe do like a line of slip stitches or something up underneath here to kind of give it some structure, but like, why bother? It's fine. It's fine. I'm taking it on and off 100 times anyways because I live in Florida. This is adorable. It will sometimes be to keep me warm, right? But I'm not like hanging my hat on like this cardigan has to like be the one, right? I am really happy with this. And if I keep messing with it, who cares? I don't care. I've worn this, as I said, 3 times. So essentially what I did, it's pulling my tank top down though. Essentially what I did is I picked up stitches. After I did the short rows, where they ended, I picked up stitches in single crochet right here. And then right before I blocked it, I got out my sewing machine and I sewed it down. This one's better. This one's easier to see. I trimmed this one just a little too close. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I think it's fine. Like, these seem really secure. There's one tiny little spot that's just thread. I may put like some fray check on that, but so far nothing has moved. And I've been inspecting this. It does not seem like it's moving at all. I did a stretch stitch on my sewing machine, so it's not even just a straight stitch. It goes forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. Number one, because it's a stretchy, and 2, I want to just lock everything in. And then I cut it off. Here's my pieces. So like literally this used to be attached to my cardigan. I did this, you guys. Like, this was right here. Can you imagine? You can, because I've shown you before. But like, it used to be there. It's not anymore because I cut my crochet. And I will say this kind of is unraveling, right? If I yank on it, it will unravel. But it's been in the bag since I did that. It's fine. I'm gonna throw those away now. I didn't even include that in the finished weight of this cardigan. I should have, I guess. But it's not technically the finished object. I cut it off. It would be like throwing away my swatch and not weighing that, right? So yeah, I'm not bothered about these little floofy bits. If I think that's a problem, I will put a little fray check on, or maybe I'll put like a ribbon or do a French seam or something just on that part. But like, it's fine. I'm really proud. I'm really proud of this thing that I almost frogged multiple times. And I'm really happy that I finished it because this is something I will wear. This is a color I will wear. And you can even see, like, I feel like my eyes don't look as green with this because it doesn't have that olive green in it, but they look browner. Like, it's A, a fade. I love a fade. It's B, purple. Love purple. It's C, has the darkest color right next to my face, which was great. It is long, it's drapey, it's super soft. The gold stellina in this, it's not really showing up on camera very well, but it is not itchy at all. Like, I don't find this yarn to prickle me in any area, and I am hot right now. I need to take this off because I'm so hot. But like, I'm not prickly, I'm not scratchy, I'm not upset in any way. I'm delighted with this finished object. The only issue is, of course, it wants to fall off my shoulders, but that's something I'm going to deal with because I am happy. This is the best outcome because even last week I was like, when I finish it and if it doesn't look right, like, I'm just going to gift it to someone who is a little smaller than me, like probably would work better on. No, this is not going anywhere. This is staying in my closet forever. Mine. Okay, I have to take it off. So yeah, I do need to take some pictures of it so then it can be like really finished on Ravelry. But yeah, it's completely done and it's 480 grams. So thank you, Amanda, for sending this yarn all that time ago. This project lived in a bag for so long because it hurt my feelings, but really it was my fault. And I just am so delighted that it's done. Like, yes, it's like a little bit cheating that most of this cardigan was done before January, but the hardest part of this, which was the figuring out the short rows, steeking it, and doing all of that, that was this year. So I'm totally okay with adding 480 grams of this to my finished project stash. So what's the other finished object? It's a pair of socks. I officially have 0 socks on the needles. Isn't that insane? It's because I've been working on my Sockhead cowl when following Noah around. So yeah, they're finished. These are DK weight socks. I had 1 sock completed last time and I was like just starting the heel on the second one. I think that I finished these like a day or 2 after I podcasted last time. So I have not worked on a sock in 2 weeks, essentially. And oh, I forgot. I just saw something I forgot to do. All the ends are woven in. I just haven't washed them yet. This was the first sock because I distinctly remember on a podcast episode previously being like, what the heck did I do there? Like, there's some kind of long line where like 1 stitch is going over like 3 stitches for no apparent reason, but only 1 leg of it. I don't know what's happening there, but there's a hole and I need to sew it up. I need to leave these out so I can remember to sew it up. This yarn came from my friend Emmy, and this is how much I have left. And I have a teeny little nug of the contrast color. Last podcast, I was like, I'm just going to do the cuffs and the toes because I don't know if there's enough. Is there enough in a 20 gram DK weight mini to do the heels? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. I have a teeny tiny little nug left. And this is the yarn. The Mermaid's Purse in the colorway Harriet Powers. It is 100% superwash blue-faced Leicester. Now, will this hold up as far as a sock with nylon would? I'm going to say probably not, but the likelihood that I am going to use this maybe I'll wear it a couple times a year in boots. I'm probably just going to sleep in them. I sleep in a pair of wool socks every single night. And last night, I was boiling hot for no apparent reason. You could be like, well, yeah, because the outside is hot. True, but like, we have the air conditioner on. I'm not normally that hot. I was so hot, I took my wool socks off and I slept for half the night without them. And then around midnight or 1 a.m., I was like, my toes are so cold. And since my kids have come out, I just have to sleep with wool socks on. I have to sleep with socks on in general, but I love to sleep with wool socks. So I pretty much only sleep in my hand knit socks. And yeah, I'm probably just gonna sleep in these. And then like once a year, I will wear them in boots or something when it's like, we get our 3 days of winter in Florida. These socks, how much did they weigh? Did I not write these down? Oh, they're DK. That's why they're not on the fingering page. 77 grams. It took 77 grams of yarn to make 2 DK weight socks. I followed pretty much my standard vanilla sock recipe, just in DK weight numbers. So I did 15 rounds of 2x2 ribbing. I think I did 48 stitches for these instead of my normal 64. I did 6 inches total on the leg. I did a shadow wrap heel, mostly because I didn't want to figure out the fish lips kiss heel because I needed 2 more stitches. I would have needed like 50 stitches for that. And then I just worked the foot until I got to the size that I need, and I did a rounded toe. I haven't even tried these on, but they look to be the right size. They're fitting the sock blocker like they're the right size, and they're done. And this is 777 grams of yarn that has been officially finished in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty wild, you guys. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to like be making progress on things. It's just been, you know, last year was a lot. This year has been a lot for a lot of reasons already. But overall, I'm just feeling better and I'm stitching faster. And yeah, like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So this is going to go back in my stash. This is going to go in the trash. I have 2 more projects to show you. One on Trelac. Let's just talk about that one because it's the doozy. What time is it? What time is it? 1:59. We have time. Okay. This is living in a giant bucket. Where did this bucket come from? I have no idea. I've had it since before Josiah and I got married. So, I don't know, 14 years at least old. I don't know where I got it from. It's like plasticky. It used to store stuff. I put the yarn in this bucket because there are 13 colors of yarn in this project. And I have only caked up 11 of them, I think, so far. But they're all in their individual plastic bags. And I'm using fingering weight yarn for this because the pattern calls for DK and I don't have enough DK. I certainly don't have 13 coordinating-ish colors of DK. This is what the pattern is. It is the Landscape Shawl by Martin Up North. I think that I'm about here. I'm right about here somewhere. I have done 15 rows. How many rows are there? Oh, at least 45. Oh yeah, there's 45 rows total. So I've got 30-ish more rows to do, plus a border. This pattern hurts my brain. I truly don't understand it. It's working. I don't comprehend why it works or how it works. Maybe if I really sat down and I didn't have mashed potatoes for a brain after having children, it would make sense to me, but I can't. I don't have the time and I only have mashed potatoes in my head. So it doesn't make sense. But it's finally working. Every time I picked this up before, I remember being going through the pattern, reading it, reading all his instructions, going back to the beginning, because essentially he walks you through the first couple of rows of how to do it. And then the rest of it is just here's the numbers for this square. Here's the numbers for this square. You're just supposed to know how to do it. And I did it. Every time I picked this up, I would be like, what? What? The beginning was hard. The end was hard. The squares in the middle were hard. I couldn't figure it out. But I think I finally got it. I did a row last night and it worked perfectly. So the last time you saw this, I had just done this row over here. So I have done all of this since the last time I podcasted about this shawl, which means I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, which I pretty much only do 1 row at a time on this because these rows are quite time consuming. And for the beginning of it, quite brain power consuming. Every time I pick this up, I'm second guessing my color choices. Well, we're going to persevere. Maybe it'll be magical in the end. At the beginning, I was like, ooh, I love it. And then I added this and I was like, ugh, Christmas. And I love Christmas, but that's not what I was going for. And now I'm like, was this a mistake? This color right here? We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going because everything has already been caked up and cut in half. Everything's been put in 50-gram balls. The things that I have found that help me, number 1, remembering that no matter how many stitches I need in this row, I need to add 2. So if this has one column, I need 3 stitches to make that happen. This one has 2. I need 4 stitches to make that happen. So whatever one, I need to add 2. If I don't have that many loops on my hook at the beginning of, or the midpoint of the first row, like before I do the return pass, it's not gonna work. I also need to make sure that these stitches across the top that I will be picking up for the next row are loose. If they're not loose, I get very upset. It is very hard to put your hook where it needs to go. I've honestly considered not doing the slip stitches and doing something else, like single crochet instead, but it would change the aesthetic since I've already worked this much of it. But the slip stitches are hard for me to work into and they hurt my elbow. I am using, what hook? 5.5 millimeter? Yes, my 5.5 millimeter clover hook on this. I was like, maybe I need an inline hook that would get into these stitches because you're essentially doing Tunisian simple stitch. Entrelac is squares of Tunisian simple stitch that you complete one at a time. The tricky thing about this pattern is it's entrelac, which is squares of Tunisian single crochet that you complete one at a time, or simple stitch rather, but they change, every square changes size. So the squares are always changing sizes. I was like, maybe it'll be easier if I get a inline hook. I was like, maybe I should get a dots hook. And I went on Knit Picks website and they're like, oh, you can have a dots hook for $4 for one hook. Pretty good deal. Shipping is $7. And I was like, oh, that's $11 for one dots hook. But I don't want to buy a whole set of them for $33. Even with Amazon, it's like $33. That would be free shipping at least. I was like, what if I hate them? Because typically, this is what I use. My Clover and Moors are my favorite thing of all time. So I found some Susan Bates inline hooks. I'll give you a comparison. They're a lot longer and I hate them. This part, because it's so pointy, does get into the stitch easier. So that's easier. The rest of it, the worst. Compared to the Clover, like this just sticks and drags on the yarn. It pulls. I don't find this to be a comfortable hook at all. And I like that it's a little bit longer. Like I like that it pokes out, which I know the dots hooks do as well. But I don't understand what this ergonomic grip is for. Like it doesn't come all the way up to here. So the part of my hand that's actually holding it, like it makes this nice. That's it. The part of my hand that's actually holding it doesn't have any padding. What? So I worked, I don't know, half a row in this and promptly was like, that was a waste of money. It's not necessarily a waste of money. I may at some point use this hook for something else, right? We just finished my Cirrus shawl and I told you I needed a really pointy hook to work the boucle stitch on that. But I worked half a row with this. Switch back to this. And even though it was harder to get into the stitches because this hook is not as pointy, I went a lot faster because this is lighter and this is so smooth. That's the two main reasons I love Clovers. They weigh nothing and this is so smooth, so smooth. So yeah, waste of money. Anyways, then I got an email from Knit Picks being like, Felici is on sale, say goodbye to it because these colors aren't coming back. And I had my eye on a ball of Lisa Felici, which is basically like a Lisa Frank colored ball of sock yarn. And it was on sale. And so I ordered one ball of that. One ball of that and one dots crochet hook in 5.5 millimeter to see if I like it. We'll see when it arrives. I think that it shipped today or something like that. It was easier for me to justify the shipping when there was 2 items coming as opposed to paying $7 to ship one crochet hook. That just like really burned my butt up. So it's coming with one ball of sock yarn, which I know I will make socks from because I just love the colors. So I think it was like, because of the sale, it ended up being like $16 total for the hook and the yarn and the shipping. That's crazy shipping though. Crazy. So yeah, I just added color F. So A, B, C, D, E. I've added 5 colors and this is the 6th. I think there's 2 rows of this and then I get to add the next color, which will be really fun. So yeah, I'm working on this really slowly. I did put it down. I was working on it like every single night for a little bit and then I put it down and took a break because I was stitching it too tightly and it was hurting my arm. It was hurting my arm. Gosh, golly gee. The last project I have to show you is my Sockhead cowl. It's getting close to being finished. This is what I use when I follow Noah around. It has gotten a significant amount of work since the last time you saw it because I've been following Noah around a significant amount of time. It's living in this delightful little bag from Claudia of Crochet Luna. This yarn is from my friend Maria. We dyed it together, and this is all I have left. I should have a teeny tiny little nug of this left at the very end. Let's measure. How much ribbing do I have completed? 2 inches? Exactly 2 inches. So I have 2 more inches of ribbing and this will be done. Isn't it cool? So this is where I was last time. I finished the stockinette and started the ribbing. This is how much I did yesterday when we were at Target and Noah was looking at toys. I was also doing like some work emails and stuff from my phone, but I mean, that's like a ½ inch. That's a pretty solid amount, right? It's delightful. I kind of want to put it on over my head, except the needles will definitely not work. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy because it's so pink. It makes me very, very delighted. So yeah, I would assume this will be finished the next time I podcast. You never know what life is going to throw at you. But if I am going to be following Noah around for any amount of time, then I'm pretty sure I can get through 2 inches of ribbing. Don't you think? Yeah, I've just enjoyed this so much. And this yarn it's a darn good yarn. It was like a sample yarn that came in 2 50-gram skeins, and it's a single ply. You can kind of see it as single ply. It's not twisted very much at all. It's definitely going to be like fuzzy, have a halo. You can kind of see how fuzzy it is already. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. And it should be finished soon. So that is where we are at. I feel like it's a lot of projects, but I felt like I didn't talk about a lot of projects, mostly because they're finished. That's 3 finished projects. 2 works in progress. Well, technically 4, because I cast on that hat and started that shawl. So I guess it's about even. I said last time, I feel the need to start new things coming, but I'm still on this like working on my old whips finishing type of train, and I don't think the new project bug is quite here. Like I can feel it, and I had it a little bit because I started those 2 new things, but those almost don't even feel like new projects to me because they're a continuation of working with this yarn. And this yarn, like the project of this yarn is not completed because all of the yarn has not been completed. So I'm essentially just continuing on using this yarn. So that doesn't feel like a new project to me in the same way that if I go back into my husband's office, I have a bag of yarn sitting there with projects assigned to most of it, just waiting for me to start it. And I keep going in there and being like, is today the day? And then going, nope, today's not the day. Like I'm still gonna focus on finishing my whips. I don't know why that is, but I'm taking advantage of it because this energy comes around so infrequently in my life, okay? That like I tend to start 17 whips. I'll work on them a little, and then a couple of them get finished at the same time, but then like stuff will just sit for a long time, and this is what's been happening. And maybe it's like Noah is finally like 2.5. He still has all kinds of problems and he requires a lot of attention, okay? But like I feel like I'm at a place where I can actually think sometimes, hence why I was able to add short rows to that cardigan. And so there's still quite a few whips in my box. I have 2 pairs of mittens on the go. Haven't touched those in the last 2 weeks. I have my Crochet Memories blanket, which I would love to get some progress on. There is my V-neck boxy. Love to get some progress on that too. In fact, I almost picked that up as my next major thing to work on. And then I was just like, no, I'm already knitting on this. And the Sockhead cowl, I kind of want to do this. I kind of just want to crochet. So I don't know. I don't foresee me finishing this before I put it down. Like, because this is really complicated and it requires brain power. Like I said, I don't understand it, but I am happy to get progress on that. I think this one will be around for a while. But I have all of those whips. I have the night shift cowl, which is like mosaic slip stitch type knitting. That one requires some brain power too. So there's a lot of whips still in there. Oh, there's a whole amigurumi bag of crochet projects that I need to go through. There is technically not started yet. In my other sock bag, the yarn is wound up for a pair of socks. There will be some socks cast on very soon, that and another pair. But I kind of want to finish the Sockhead cowl first before I start 2 new pairs of socks. But again, socks don't really feel like a new project because that's the thing that I use when I follow Noah around, right? So I don't know. I just have this I have this need to crochet. I have to crochet, and I like knitting. I've been knitting a fair amount, as you see. Knitting is the easiest thing for me to do, especially when I'm following Noah around, because I have to look at my crochet. I don't have to look at my knitting, especially if I'm knitting in a circle. But I just have been really wanting to crochet, and this honestly is not scratching that for me because this is Tunisian entrelac. It's too hard. It's not hard enough, so hard that I can't do it, but that does not scratch the crochet itch. So I'm really happy to have this shawl that I just started 2 nights ago. Oh, can't reach it. Right here. I'm really happy to have this on the go. In fact, I might take this to small group tonight and work on it because this is just crochet. This is my one true love, crochet. It's how I started. It's how I'm going to keep going. I love it so much. So I'm really happy to have that going. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the need to start some new projects coming. And when it will happen, I'm not sure, but I want to make a tank top. I have yarn back there for a blanket. I have yarn for a few shawls picked out. I just added 3 shawls to my list. I added, what was it? The One Way or Another shawl by Fay of, what is her new podcast name? It used to be the Crochet Circle podcast in Providence Craft Co. It's Brew from the Bothy. I love her so much. She's like OG when it comes to YouTube podcasts for crochet. She's an amazing pattern designer. Amazing. I will link her down below. The stuff she comes up with is incredible, okay? And there's always so many ways to have variations of it. I want to make her One Way or Another shawl. It's very similar in style to the Sophie scarf, the knit Sophie scarf that's going around, except it comes in multiple sizes and it's crochet. And it's not crochet like double crochets. It looks so good. It looks so good. You'll see when I make it. I have to pick yarn for that one. I also want to make the Cerberus shawl by Rosina of Zeens and Roger. I just finished the Sierra shawl that had been languishing for so long, but she also is an amazing pattern designer. I want to make that. That's crochet. And then there is a very similar to the Cerberus, there is a knit shawl called Variations on Triangle or Variations on Triangles by Midori Hirosi, I think that's her name. I saw it on the Fast Squirrels podcast. She had knit one and I was like, that is so cool. And then 2 days later, I saw Zeens and Rogers Cerberus shawl, which was very similarly multiple sizes of a triangle shawl. You can do a shallow, you can do a medium, you can do a deep, and it has this different colored I-cord-esque edging around the side. And the Variations on Triangle have stripes going this way, and the Cerberus shawl has stripes going this way. And I'm just into stripes at the moment, I guess. So none of this has been started, but it's on my to-do list. But right now, I just keep working on my whips. Just keep working, just keep working. What do? We work on our whips. I don't know. Life update? I don't have any. I'm sure that a bunch of stuff is going on. There's going to be spring break coming soon. We're going to spend some time in South Carolina with Josiah's family, which I'm really excited about. And Noah hasn't been sleeping, but what else is new? He never sleeps. He slept all night last night. And that is why I am so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning. Also, my phone app where I track my period was like, you may be ovulating today. And I feel that I am because I feel delightful. I feel like I want to talk to everyone. I feel happy. I feel fabulous. Hormones are wild, right? Usually around ovulation, before it happens for me, I have a day or two where I just hate everyone and everything, and I'm very tired. And then once it kicks in, I'm like, I'm my best self. You love me. You want to love me. You're going to love me forever. Mind you, a week from now, I'm going to be on the floor. I hate everyone and I just want to die. But biologically, it makes sense that I would be my best self I would feel the most attractive, the most charismatic, the most fabulous when my body's like, hey, anyone want to have a baby? No. The answer is no. I do not want to have a baby. I have two. I have birthed two humans. The shop is closed. It's closed. There will never be a bun in the oven ever again. And if there is, it would be a serious health complication for me because I have had a uterine ablation. However, I will take the couple of days of feeling absolutely fabulous around the time of ovulation. I know eventually in, 5 to 10 years, that won't happen for me anymore. But I'll take it. I'll take it while it happens. I'll be like, oh, I feel so good today. And I'm not upset. Everyone loves me. I love my kids. I love everyone. I feel delightful. It's nice. Anyways, why was I talking about that? Oh, because he slept all night. He slept all night. And I have hormonal support today. What is this? A magical existence? Don't worry. Sunday night, he did not sleep. He was up half the night. And I was not fit for public consumption on Monday. Woof, you guys. We did test. If you've been around, you know he has all kinds of tummy issues. And everyone keeps telling me he's going to grow out of it. So far, no. Not even a little bit. We tested dairy because he's 2.5 now. Did not go well. I was going to give quite a break before we tested anything else. However, he got a hold of some apple, which he cannot have. And I was like, well, I guess we're testing apple. Because the problem is it doesn't show up right away. If it was an allergic reaction, it would, like a true immune system allergy, it would show up immediately. Like hives, rash, swelling, anaphylaxis, right? Trouble breathing, all of that. He doesn't have any of that. It significantly wrecks his stomach. And it takes 3 days. Because for example, anytime he's had soy, since we cut out soy after he was a year old. So in the last 1.5 years, anytime he's accidentally had soy or gotten a hold of something with soy in it, because literally everything has soy in it. Why does everything have soy in it? Anytime he's gotten a hold of something, he'll be fine for a day or two. And then 3 days later, he can't poop. He's in pain. He's up at night crying. I want to say, it took 4 days before the dairy got him when we were testing dairy. And I wasn't giving him a lot, just couple tiny bites a day. Still got him. Ruined his life. The apple did the same thing. I would say it wasn't quite as bad as the dairy, maybe because I stopped it sooner, or maybe it's just not as severe, but same thing. Monday, he refused to take a nap. And that was, I think Sunday was the last day he had apple. He was up Sunday night wailing because his tummy hurt. And that was Sunday would have been day 4 or day 5, I think, of giving him a tiny bit of apple every day. So he didn't sleep Sunday night, and he didn't sleep Monday for his nap. And then after his nap time, he had a humongous poop, because obviously I had to up his poop medicine because he can't poop. And it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because all he wants in life is a real piece of pizza. That's all he wants. And I can't give him anything. We can't eat out. We can barely go anywhere. I have to interrogate the waiters and waitresses, and I just tell them he's allergic because they don't understand, right? For all intents and purposes, he is allergic. Is he going to have to go to the ER? No, but he is going to be in so much pain, and when the pain hits, it's going to take him days to recover, which means I have to make everything. I have chicken in the crock pot with a specific kind of barbecue sauce. It doesn't have any soy or apple in it, which is hard to find. I had to make some bread. I can't buy any bread. There's a couple of Aldi has one sourdough loaf he can have. Publix has the Greenwise organic blueberry bagels. He can eat those. That's the only bagel I've ever found that he can eat that's not made at a specialty store. I can't just buy a loaf of bread. I can't buy hamburger buns for the shredded barbecue chicken. So I had to make bread. And it's not going to be, it'll be fine. It'll be delicious, right? But when you're having a sloppy Joe, you kind of want a hamburger bun. There are no hamburger buns. I have not seen a single hamburger bun in a store in the last 2.5 years since I've been looking for this stuff that doesn't have dairy or soy or both in them. Like it's drives me insane. Drives me insane. So I got a referral from his pediatrician to talk to a different GI doctor in Tampa. It's probably going to take 3 months to get an appointment with him. I don't know if they're going to say anything. I don't. I mean, he's been checked. He's been checked 6 ways to Sunday, and anyone, like, it's like people don't take me seriously because it's not serious enough. Like, he is not, because his symptoms can be managed with medication and staying away from certain foods. They're like, he's fine. And I'm like, I understand that nothing structurally is wrong, but something is going on inside of his gut that when things hit his stomach, it's not even his stomach. When things hit his intestines, there's a problem. Is it an enzyme problem? Is it a low motility problem? Is it just like, there has to be a reason why certain foods he cannot digest and cause him significant pain. And I thought it was gluten. We tested gluten like 3 separate times. We took it out of his diet for a while, tested again, and it never made any difference. And the reason I tested it the 3rd time is because accidentally, the bread recipe that I was using called for shortening, and I was like, oh yeah, and I put some 2 tablespoons of shortening in the 2 loaves of bread that I made, and 3 days later, he was crying up all night, and I didn't even realize, and I was like, oh, maybe it is the gluten, right? Because we had just given it back to him. And then later, maybe a month later, I went to make that recipe again, and I was like, oh my Lord, it's the shortening. It's the shortening. I have not found a single shortening that exists that is not made out of soybean oil. So I put some fake butter in place of shortening. But like, this is the thing that you have to do if you have a kid who has food allergies. And it's just like, it bothers me that the doctors don't take it seriously. I don't need them to match my level of intensity, but I need them to be more like, yes, this is a problem for him, because this is a problem for him. If we cannot figure this out, if he doesn't grow out of it, which he so far has not at all, if we can't mitigate this somehow, right, it's going to be like this forever, or at least for a really long time. Like, I not only am going to have to make all of his food, which I have to do all the time anyways, right? We're not going to be able to go out. He's not going to, like, I am worried about sending him to school because he's not going to go this August, but the following August, I'm worried about sending him to school because there is all kinds of food at school and he cannot have any of it. It all has soy and dairy in it, all of it. And even the stuff they give you, like the fruit snacks, they have apple juice in them. He can't have it. Like a granola bar, even theoretically, there are some that have no dairy or soy in them. Like Trader Joe's has one, Aldi has one. They have oats in them, and he can't have oats. And it's like, like if there's not a reason, if there's not something causing this, if this is just his life, Lord have mercy. He's so little. Anyways, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent for a really long time. I don't have any expectation or hope that this other GI doctor will say anything differently than the ones he's seen already. And I don't need medical advice for him, right? Like, he's been through it. He's been to GI, he's been to his pediatrician, he's been to 2 allergists. He's been like, we've done the things. He's been to a naturopath. He's been to a chiropractor. Like, he did kinesiology. Like, we've tried everything. And literally nobody knows or wants to investigate further. I feel like the GI doctor that he has seen before could investigate a little further. They basically they scoped both directions, and they were like, structurally looks fine. I'm like, I understand, but is there an enzyme test? There's something happening in his intestines specifically? And they're like, but his symptoms are managed by medicine, so we'll just keep doing that. But anyways, that was a long tangent, and I got myself all worked up about nothing. It's not nothing, but like, I do need to go because I need to put all this away and go get Nova. So that's kind of what's been going on. Nova is living her best life at school, and I am finally getting some yarn time in, and I am hopeful that this will continue. Even though there's been some really hard stuff that's happened this year so far, and it's been 2 months and a week, I am just hopeful for this, and I still have a lot of hope for this year because I personally have been feeling so much better. So like, the sad things, the hard things, the really hard days, like Monday was garbage. And I cried several times on Monday. And I kept being grateful because that used to be my reality every day. And it's not right now. Like, I have not had a day where I haven't had a day where I've cried in a while. I've had a couple days since the beginning of January where I've like teared up a few times, right? Or like cried about something specifically sad, but not because I'm overwhelmed. Monday was not a good day, right? I think I cried 2 times because I was overwhelmed. Not very long. It was like a minute or 2 each time. And today's fine. Like my reality is different than it was last year. And I still have hope because of that. So much hope. Like it feels so good to feel good after so long of not feeling good. Anyways, I keep saying I'm gonna go and I don't. I don't do it. You know why? Because I love you guys. You're my favorite. I want to keep talking to you. I don't want to put all this away. First of all, I made a giant mess. Secondly, I don't want to have to wake up this baby who is sleeping so delightfully because his tummy doesn't hurt today and his allergies are managed today, to go get his sister. I don't want to wake them up. But I'm going to. And anyways, I'm not going to be done talking because I'm vlogging today for the members and patrons, and I just enjoy doing that so much. And so I will just keep chatting to them. I will turn this off and keep chatting to them. So anyways, I will see you probably in 2 weeks, maybe sooner. Something's coming. That's all I can say, but I'm really excited about it. Maybe sooner. We'll see. I will see you in at least 2 weeks or sooner. And in the meantime, like, will you love yourself already? Do it, or I will cause a ruckus, okay? You had better be kind to yourself. You had better be nice to yourself. You had better not be disparaging or mean to yourself, or I will cause a ruckus, okay? Please take your permission slip to think and understand and internalize that you are a badass person. Take it, put it in your heart. Believe it, or I will cause a ruckus. This is called aggressive love, and you shall receive it. I mean, or don't if you don't want to, but like, do though, because I love you. Anyways, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're working on, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.